Hi, this is Carolyn Elephant of MyShingle.com and welcome to day 29 of your law practice. We're going to pick up yesterday's discussion about mistakes. Yesterday we talked about mistakes in a court filing, and today we're going to talk about mistakes that you might make in dealing with clients. And those can include anything from misspelling the client's name in a court filing to setting an appointment with them and failing to show up. Now, there are lots of programs that talk about how to calendar and how to put systems in place to avoid mistakes. Those are all really important, but the fact of the matter is that systems aren't perfect, technology isn't perfect, and people certainly are not perfect. And at one point or another, those systems are going to fall through the cracks, and you need to know how to deal with a mistake when you're working with clients. So let's talk about a couple of things. When you make a mistake in dealing with a client, it's a particularly sensitive issue because you represent that client. You're supposed to be their fiduciary, the one who speaks for them in court or who looks out for their interest in a contract or in an estate plan. And so when you make a mistake, not only is it just an error, but it communicates something larger. The client may think that if you've made a mistake on these small things, that perhaps your efforts are falling through the cracks when you're representing them or speaking for them on the larger issues. So that's why mistakes with respect to clients are so important, probably the worst type of mistakes that you can make and the ones that you really need to address. So let's say you've made the kind of mistake where you've misspelled a client's name in a document, and the document goes out to them and they see it. They, of course, get back to you and point it out. What you want to do is apologize to them and, of course, explain that you'll make the changes and there won't be any charges for those changes. So that's the way that you address that type of discrete issue. Now, let's say this is a recurring problem. Let's say you've got somebody on your team who really isn't doing their job, and every document that you send is riddled with errors, and this client first contacts the paralegal or the staff person who they've been dealing with, and then they go over that person's head and come to you directly. That's a more serious situation, and that's a case where you need to pick up the phone and you need to call the client and apologize for the mistake. Now, the one thing that you don't do is you never blame your staff for the mistakes. The buck stops with you. So if you've had a client dealing with a member of your staff who's been making chronic mistakes, you need to take responsibility. Apologize for the client and say, this work that we've prepared to you is subpar for what I expect from what my firm delivers, and this is not something that we tolerate. We're going to address these mistakes immediately, and we're going to provide you with, and then mention what it is that you'll provide them with, whether it's a refund of several hours of time, a 20% discount, or if you decide to send them a gift or enroll them in a program that you have at no charge. You want to make this right. A client should never, ever, ever have to call your office to complain about errors that your staff is making. That's a really serious breakdown in the systems that you have and in the training that you provide to your staff, and you want to nip it in the bud right away. So again, if clients got to get in touch with you about something that went wrong, you need to get on the phone and you need to make it right. The last type of situation is probably the worst, where you've set an appointment or where you're supposed to show up for a hearing and the client is there and you don't make it to court. That's a very embarrassing situation, and again, if that happens even once, you really need to go back and look at your systems, because missing an actual appointment or a court hearing is something that really should not be happening. Again, if that's the situation, you want to apologize to the client. You don't want to assign blame to the person who sets your schedule, because it makes you look bad. If you've got people working for you who can't do their job, it just is a poor reflection on you. So you want to take responsibility, again, apologize, and offer them a discount. You also want to continue to follow up with them throughout the course of the representation. So if you've missed a court date and it's an ongoing case, every couple of weeks, call and check in with the client. Ask if they're satisfied with the work. Tell them, again, remind them of the mistake and say that it's your policy to make it up. And if you've fallen short, you want to make sure that you over-deliver, and you also want to give them assurance that you're handling their case properly. So you want to go that extra mile. I assure you that even if you make one of these types of mistakes, if you take those extra steps, not just to address the mistake, but also to apologize in the form, to apologize first and then to provide them with some extra benefit and also give them some extra attention throughout the course of the representation, I can guarantee you that they will provide you with a great review at the end of the representation. And that's the best possible thing that can come out of a mistake. This is Carolyn Elephant of MyShingle.com. Join us tomorrow for day 30 of your law practice.